Hey guys, looking for new superhero games? Then you've come to the right place. We're starting the list with Marvel's Wolverine, one of the most anticipated games currently in development, created by Insomniac Games, a studio known for hits like Marvel's Spider-Man and Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales. No official gameplay has been shown yet, but there are speculations based on Insomniac's history and leaks from 2023. The game should follow a third-person action format, with visceral combat that highlights Wolverine's abilities, such as his claws, superhuman strength, and healing factor. Leaks suggest that Logan will have a tracking system based on his keen sense of smell, as well as abilities like climbing walls with his claws and revisiting memories, which could add unique narrative layers and mechanics. Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra is an action-adventure game being developed by Skydance New Media and will be published by PlayOn. The game is set in Nazi-occupied Paris during World War II and tells the story of Steve Rogers, Captain America, and Azuri, Black Panther, forming an unlikely alliance to stop the rise of the terrorist organization Hydra. Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra is described as a narrative-focused action-adventure game, emphasizing a cinematic experience. Players will be able to control the four main characters at different points in the story, each with distinct abilities and playstyles. While specific details about gameplay are still scarce, the trailer suggests a combination of intense combat, exploration, like the streets and rooftops of Paris, and platforming sequences. There is no indication that the game will have multiplayer or live service elements, indicating a focus on a rich, story-driven single-player experience.
Please, just stick to the rooftops. Be careful. Stand beside me.
When am I not?
It's better if I tackle this one alone.
You may encounter some obstacles.
That won't be a problem. Our cat friend is definitely here too. By the look of things, he's not very far ahead.
The American boy is right on your heels.
Who the hell are you?
If you wanted us dead, we'd be dead. So what do you want?
Answers.
That's far enough!
Stay out of my way!
Stand aside!
I do not take orders from anyone!
I don't have time for this. Neither do I.
The game Dispatch is a highly anticipated title being developed by Ad Hoc Studio, a company formed by former members of Telltale Games, known for hits like The Wolf Among Us and Tales from the Borderlands. Dispatch is described as a workplace comedy with superheroes, set in modern-day Los Angeles. You take on the role of Robert Robertson, also known as Mecha Man, a former superhero whose mechanical suit was destroyed in a battle against his arch-nemesis. Forced to abandon his heroic life, Robert takes a job at a superhero dispatch center, but not as a hero, but as a dispatcher. His mission is to manage a dysfunctional team of former supervillains while dealing with office politics, rebuilding his suit, and seeking a chance for revenge. The gameplay style reflects Telltale's legacy, focusing on dialogue and choices, but adds a strategic layer that sets it apart from other narrative titles.
My suit was destroyed.
You have a lot left to give. I would like to make you an offer.
This is SDN. How can we help you?
You want me to sit in an office and dispatch heroes?
In exchange, we can make you Mecha Man again. Washed up dad bod superhero with no superpowers. Can't wait.
Whenever there's a crisis in the area, we get a call, and guess who answers? Me.
Too easy.
Oh, you shouldn't have done that.
What are you doing, Invisigal? Is that your car?
I don't have a car.
That's gonna be a weird insurance claim.
The way things are going, I'd cut the whole damn team.
All All of you in this room have set this program ablaze with your bullshit.
You're right at home behind that desk because you're no hero. You're a nerd playing a video game in a suit your daddy built.
You gonna eat those Twinks?
That's not what they're... You know what? Help yourself.
The game Mightreya is an anime-style action title that has generated a lot of anticipation among fans of Japanese games and animations. Developed by Wazen, a Japanese indie studio led by a solo developer, and published by 505 Games, the game is scheduled to be released in 2025 exclusively for PC via Steam. The game was designed to be accessible, with simple controls that allow you to lock onto targets with the camera and unleash quick attacks with the press of a button. This makes it easy to execute combos and fast strikes. The confrontations are dynamic and occur at high speed, with Rhea facing enemies in the air. Players can throw opponents against the ground or walls, creating duels in the best anime style. The focus is on providing a direct and fun action experience, without elements like Souls-like, roguelike, or microtransactions, which has been well received by fans seeking a more traditional indie game. Lethal Honor, Order of the Apocalypse is a roguelite action game with elements of beat-em-up and intense combat, set in a dark world of fantasy and cosmic horror. It is being developed by the Spanish studio Viral Studios. The game focuses on brutal and fast-paced combat that mixes melee attacks with ranged abilities and magic. Players will need to master dodging, parrying, precise blocks, and the strategic use of different types of attacks to survive. The game features a distinct hand-drawn art style that evokes dark comics or graphic novels. The visuals are detailed and atmospheric, contributing to the horror atmosphere. There is a wide range of abilities, weapons, and items, allowing for various combinations to face challenging enemies and bosses. The aesthetic is inspired by the dark age of superhero graphic novels, with gothic tones and a dense post-apocalyptic vibe. Captain Carnage is an action-adventure game that will be released in 2025, promising an interesting mix of hack and slash and third-person shooter. You take on the role of Captain Carnage, a chaotic superhero, and your mission is to save the world from various supervillains. Captain Carnage was a normal human with an abnormal amount of bad luck. One day, he found himself in the middle of a fight between superhumans over a high-tech serum. Through a series of unfortunate events, he is injected with the serum and thus receives his superpowers: increased combat power, increased speed, and regenerative ability. With his new abilities, Captain Carnage joins a shadowy superhero organization as a full-time employee. Captain Carnage offers a variety of options for the player, allowing you to customize your playstyle according to your preferences. You can use the full repertoire of melee and ranged attacks to defeat your opponents. Marvel's Blade is a third-person action-adventure game being developed by Arcane Lion and published by Bethesda Softworks. The game is based on the Marvel Comics character Blade, a daywalker, half-human, half-vampire, who hunts vampires and other creatures of the night. The game is set in Paris, where a group of vampires has emerged to terrorize the city at night. Blade is a vampire hunter, and the player will have to face these creatures and other enemies. The game will have an original narrative inspired by the character's comic book mythology, but will also incorporate elements from his appearances in other media. The gameplay will focus on action and adventure, with elements of melee and shooting combat. The player will be able to use a variety of weapons and abilities to defeat their enemies, including the use of firearms, melee weapons, and supernatural powers.
Lock up tight now. Night's just getting started.
Marvel Cosmic Invasion is a beat-em-up action game that will be released in 2025, developed by Tribute Games and published by Dotemu in collaboration with Marvel Games. It promises to bring a nostalgic experience inspired by classic arcade games from the 90s, combining frenetic combat, pixel art graphics, and a star-studded cast of characters from the Marvel Universe. The game revolves around a cosmic invasion led by the villain Annihilus, known as the Living Death That Walks. Annihilus launches an unprecedented attack across the galaxy, threatening all life with his dreaded annihilation wave. To combat him, heroes from Earth and the cosmos unite in an epic adventure that spans different locations, from the streets of New York to the depths of the Negative Zone. Marvel Cosmic Invasion is a side-scrolling beat-em-up in the style of classics like X-Men and The Simpsons from the 90s arcades. It modernizes the genre with updated mechanics. The Black Panther game is in development by Electronic Arts through the new studio SuperHeroGames, known for its work on Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. The game will be a third-person single-player adventure with a narrative focus. While it is in its early stages of production, EA promises a complete Black Panther experience for fans. The game will allow players to control the narrative of the story in a way never seen before. Additionally, the game will create an epic and rich world, allowing for deep exploration of the region of Wakanda, where the heroes' films and adventures take place. According to SuperHeroGames, the mission is to build an expansive and reactive world that empowers players to experience what it's like to take on the mantle of Wakanda's protector, Black Panther. This suggests an emphasis on exploration and interaction with the environment, possibly with elements of choice that impact the narrative.
Vibranium doesn't belong to you!
You are right. Vibranium does not belong to me. It belongs to Wakanda.
The last game on the list is Marvel's Iron Man, a game being created by Motive Studio, an EA division known for titles like Star Wars Squadrons and the Dead Space remake. The team is led by Olivier Proulx, executive producer with experience on Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, and Ian Fraser, creative director. It will be a third-person action-adventure game, exclusively single-player, meaning no confirmed multiplayer components. It is being developed with Unreal Engine 5, which promises high-quality graphics, advanced physics, and an immersive visual experience. Motive Studio emphasized that the player will be able to feel what it's like to play as Iron Man, suggesting an emphasis on the suit's abilities, such as flight, combat, and technological gadgets. The narrative will be a love letter to the hero, according to Bill Roseman, Vice President and Creative Director of Marvel Games. Well, that was the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and see you next time.
Above you!
That's how it's done.
Threat neutralized.
Good. I have a plane to catch.